Hi, Jordan. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, good. Well, thank you for coming on. And I know we don't have too much time, but our listeners have a lot they would like to know. I know you guys are working on your EP project. You just were at the Brits with Ed Sheeran. That is so cool. But before we get into all of that, I'd love to take it back, way, way back to the beginning. I know you weren't with Bring Me the Horizon from the very start. How
hmm
did you get there? How did you become a part of that?
Um, Initially, I was just helping with stuff in the studio, I guess, and then it just kind of developed naturally into me being in the band. I guess I never really asked, to be honest. They didn't. I don't think anyone asked me to be in the band. I just didn't go away for long enough that I crept in, um, and then and then we released Sempiternal. So that was 2012 and 2013. That album was released. So I've been in the band for going on 10 years now, which is crazy. Doesn't feel that long.
Yeah. And when you started getting into music, getting into producing, did you see yourself doing something like this way back at the very beginning?
No, not really. No, not at all, to be honest. Um, but um, no, I guess you don't really think that far ahead, do you? I always wanted to be in a touring band. To go on a tour was probably the thing I was like most excited about, like being on a tour bus um, and I think it's still like that hasn't really worn off for me. Like I still get really excited to go on tour and be on a bus, and we've done so many, but it still hasn't like worn thin for me. I just love the whole thing, the kind of just the feeling and the environment, and it just feels like kind of like a lad's holiday all the time. It's just like hanging out with your mates. That really doesn't go away. So I mean, we've calmed down a bit. It's quite, we're in bed a bit earlier maybe, and we watch a film and have a cup of tea and then go to bed. But um, just the whole thing is really fun. So yeah, I always wanted to tour, but um, to be honest with you, I was like 24, 25 when I joined the band. So at that point, I was not expecting to be playing the Brits with Ed Sheeran at any point in my life. So yeah,
Yeah, that's
crazy.
crazy. Well, and like
Yeah.
you mentioned back ten years ago when you joined the band, I think from then to now you have a Die For You out, you released the Bad Habits version with Ed Sheeran. I feel like it's safe to say that there are a lot of different sounds from back then to now in your music. What is it like to explore those different genres, and what made you guys kind of want to go off the path a little bit?
Um, it's just boredom, I would say, with other music from the scene, and also um, I don't know. I think Ollie's a very creative um, person who isn't really he isn't really locked by worrying about what people are expecting or what people might want. So I found that when I first joined the band, actually, it was we were drastically changing. I wasn't in the band, and the music was very different to anything they'd done before, and I was worried about it, and I wasn't in the band. I was like, are you sure your fans aren't going to be like, what the hell is this? Because it was so drastically different, and he really didn't care particularly. Um, he was just like, I like it, and we all like it, so that's all that matters. So I think that mentality has kind of been the driving force behind the band being willing to experiment and try so many different things, is because he doesn't really worry about what people think are gonna think of the music. He just wants to make stuff that he thinks is cool. Um, and also, I guess partly with like me being quite more of a producer as a band member, gives us a bit more scope to really experiment with sounds and different genres. In a studio environment, maybe more so than a more traditional band with like two guitarists and a bassist and a drummer. So I think those two things combined, and also we like a lot of different genres of music. We have quite broad taste. So yeah, maybe them three things combined have meant that we've ended up moving around a lot over the years and trying a lot of different things. And also as the career has gone on, a lot of those like initial like, this is like way too poppy or way too electronic. We've dabbled in those worlds before, and it's kind of anything is fair game for us at this point. I think we feel like so.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ollie, I mean, Ollie clearly is like, I'm going to do what I want to do. Do you still get those nerves about what the fans are going to think when
I do.
you're working?
I do. I think I'm probably the one who worries about it more than him. Yeah. But like, I don't want to be a stick in the mud. But I feel like I'm either a stick in the mud for his like creativity, or I'm a balancing force, depending on your perspective. But I like to think I'm a balancing force to stop him from going so wild that no one wants to listen to it. But he might disagree.
I'll say balancing force. Let's go with
Okay.
that. I think that's good. Now, we talked earlier, you know, you were at the Brits with Ed Sheeran. You released your version of Bad Habits with him. What was that like to work with another artist, especially like Ed Sheeran, who might not necessarily be in the Bring Me the Horizon typical wheelhouse?
And we don't have a typical wheelhouse.
That's true. That's true.
It was cool. It was a really good experience. He was like a really nice guy, and yeah, just a great, to be honest, a great experience from start to finish. Really easy. The track came together really easily as well. Kind of didn't take us too long to work out, and it all just sounded natural and right. And yeah, it was just fun to be asked to do it, and fun to get to rework the song. And yeah, just like I said, a really nice team of people, like management team, and him and his wife and all the people who we met around him were just great people, and it was just a really, really fun experience. It was really shit scary, but a great experience. But yeah, very nerve-wracking. I mean, especially as it's live, like we haven't done that much live TV anyway, and it's opening. So in my mind, I would think I was nervous because if we fuck it up, it's like a national disaster. You know what I mean? Like, there's like 6 million people watching. So if something goes wrong and like it fails, then everyone is like, my mum is watching, and people from my kids' school are watching, and it would be like a national embarrassment. This is what runs through my head before a show.
I know.
National embarrassment. So that added a little bit of pressure. The risk of being a national fool, but in the end, it didn't really go wrong, and it was fine. So.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that none of those scenarios in your head happened and that it went well.
No.
How different is it to work with another artist on songs like that versus when you're just you in the band?
We have done a bunch of writing with other people, and for other people, with other people, collaborations. Especially recently, a bunch of stuff that hasn't come out, and it's kind of different every time. You never really know what you're going to get, and it's a fun process to. It's good training to go into a studio with a person who you don't really know and try and write a song with them. You know, kind of, I think it can help you learn a little bit about yourself and what your strengths are. And it builds your confidence. And, you know, we've been in the room with like some top songwriters, and I'm not saying we're top songwriters, but I also haven't felt like I can't say what I think with these people, you know what I mean? And say, you know, I don't think that's as strong as this, or I think I've got a better melody, or I think I should do this, or whatever. So we've had a lot of those experiences in the last year, and I think they're all just helping us grow as songwriters, and they're fun experiences as well. You meet different people and hear different opinions, and yeah, it's kind of we didn't really do that until the last year, I would say, maybe year and a half. So that's just been a new aspect to the band that's made it, you know, kept it interesting for us, really.
Yeah. And now I'm going to guess that the answer to this question is probably no. We know you don't have a typical wheelhouse, but when you're working on an EP or an album and you're writing songs, do you kind of have a process that you guys follow, or is it totally just random when inspiration strikes?
We work. So we have structured working time, I guess, where we'll get together and do like 3 or 4 days a week of writing from 9 or 10 a.m. till 9 or 10 p.m. So that side is a process in terms of, you know, we're not like, I feel inspired, let's get together. It's a 3-hour drive from me up to where the other guys live. So yeah, I'll go up and stay for a few days, and we'll write, and then we'll kind of come home and see our families and go back in again. But I also have like a setup here where I can, if I do feel inspired, I can jump on and make some ideas and stuff. And in terms of the process for making the songs, it varies really. I mean, if we had we probably should have more of a process, to be honest. Especially the beginning stages of a song is just a bit of kind of scrabbling around to try and find a foothold really in a giant cliff that you can't see. If that works as an analogy. You just you take a step and climb up for a bit, and then realize you're climbing up the wrong cliff.
Yeah.
You get back down again and start again, and then every so often you get to the top and you have a song.
Yeah, there you go.
Kind of
Well, speaking of the songwriting process, we know you guys are working on 4 parts. We have 1 out. What can what's coming next? What can we expect?
The second part.
The second part. Okay. Is it going to be crazy different? We know how Die For You sounds, but
I don't know. But to be honest, it's still, we've got some songs that are kind of finished and some that aren't. So I don't know. I think this next one's probably going to be quite varied. At the moment, there's a bunch of stuff that's quite different. So it's really hard to say because it's still being born right now. So yeah, I don't know.
We'll have to find out.
We have to find out, yeah, when we ever finish it.
Well,
if we ever finish it.
If you ever finish it, oh no.
At this rate.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Jordan, for taking time out of your day to come and chat with us. It was so much fun to get to meet you, and I know our listeners will be really excited to hear this, so I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I look forward to visiting Fort Collins, the home of the cream cheese pizza.
The cream cheese pizza, you got to try it. You'll like it, I swear.
Okay, I bet I won't.
Yeah, probably not, but we'll see. Thank you, Jordan.
Bye.